One thing to remember about the woke is that they always double down. They never self-reflect. They always go absolutely insane in what they're doing. And this is something that's just so consistent. Now, the guy who now is making rounds around the internet, who wrote that preface to the making of original Dungeons & Dragons that trashed Gary Gygax, called him a racist and sexist and all the things, is now out there just being smug and doing what the woke always do, acting like it's a victory that gamers hate what he's doing. It's insane, but these people really don't want them to play their games, don't want you to play their games. They hate you. This is what it's all about. It is about hatred of their own customers. They are just insane, broken people. And that's why we have to fight so hard, my friends. That's why we are writing the articles at Fandom Pulse. That's why I'm covering the news here. So please smash that like and subscribe button. I really appreciate you guys for being there. I've done some RPG work myself. My name's John Delarose. I am a fantasy and science fiction writer. And I hope I can get you in on some of my books and the process. I actually have a Black Friday sale which starts today. Which is pretty great for Steam and Country, which is the first book in my Baron von Monocle series. We had one of our best days ever for sales yesterday, all thanks to D&D players, so thank you. This series is a 6-book series, and I had one of my customers last night actually tell me it feels a lot like D&D or feels a lot like Final Fantasy VI, which is a game that I loved growing up. And it does. It was done that way intentionally. So if you guys check this out, you will absolutely enjoy this. I love the world building here. I'd love to flesh this out into a full RPG setting at some point. That'd be a lot of fun. Too many projects, but this is in the description below. If you like good fantasy, it's on ebook, print, and audio. Grab all the books, guys. This one is on sale for only 99 cents, so it's a really easy buy-in, and I really appreciate you guys for being there. So that'll be in the description below. Thanks for supporting our channel. So as I mentioned before, the Dungeons & Dragons has been a hot topic on social media this week because Elon Musk drew attention to the game's current owners, Wizards of the Coast, turning woke and trashing its founder, Gary Gygax, in a recent history book, which is The Making of Original Dungeons & Dragons. Now, the writer of that introduction has responded, bragging about getting Elon Musk's negative attention. And we've covered this over the last few days. This is the book that came out earlier this year, and it has a preface to it that's written by Jason Tondreau, the senior designer who works at Wizards of the Coast. He's big up in the RPG industry, and he attacks Gary Gygax. He says it's a moral quandary in D&D. The documents reproduced in this book contain pages of charts and tables. Yes, but that game content also includes virtual catalog of insensitive and derogatory language, words that are casually hurtful to anyone with a physical or mental disability, or who happens to be old, fat, not conventionally attractive, indigenous, black, or a woman. Some have charitably ascribed this language to authors working from bad assumptions. In the 1970s, historical wargamers in America were predominantly white middle-class men. You see how they hate you? And it's interesting how he's trying to characterize Gygax and the like as racist, but then he's all focused on race, and the race he hates is white middle-class men, right? This isn't surprising that they would dub a class of soldiers the fighting man, which is, a real normal term for soldier in historical wars and the like. It was used in World War II pretty regularly, so he's an idiot for saying this, who obviously doesn't know his history. And then he of course, goes off on women's lib. He goes off on slavery, and we've read this before on the videos. So we'll continue, guys, as this guy obviously went crazy for a while. Now, what happened was Grums found this, and of course mentioned that it's being trashed, that Gary Gygax is being trashed, and Elon chimed in saying nobody gets to trash Gary Gygax and the geniuses who created Dungeons & Dragons. What the F is wrong with Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast? May they burn in hell. So that is something that went obviously insanely viral, and this guy just decides to double down and go crazy. Here's what he says. Jason Tondreau, the guy who wrote this, he posting to his Facebook, "I did not have pissing off the richest man in the world on my bingo card, but considering the number of people he's mad at, that should really be considered a free space." So you see, he tries to declare victory in the fact that gamers found his thing, that they're offended by it, that it's obvious that he destroyed the legacy of Gary Gygax with an official product from Wizards of the Coast, destroyed the brand of Dungeons & Dragons, makes people not want to play, turns off gamers. It's actually a good thing. This is how these people react. They always declare victory. He's always a secret king. He's smarter than the richest man in the world, is what he's implying here, right? It's pure retardery, is what it is. And this is how Gamma males act every single time. This is exactly who Jason Tondro is. This is the smugness that the woke have as they try to destroy everything you love every single time. It's just absolutely sick. And it goes further because, of course, they don't just stop there. They can't just have their little thing and move on with their day. So somebody asked, out of curiosity, did your team foresee any blowback to your comments potentially? That is, attention from Musk is unpredictable as it is ludicrous. But was there any sense in advance this could rub some portion of the fandom the wrong way? It's a big portion of the fandom that it's doing, though still be worth doing. Of course it's worth doing, even though it pisses off your own customers. It's really ridiculous. So he goes, early in the book's development, the marketing team asked me what sort of critiques we could expect and prepare for. And I and the editors agreed that the problem was going to be from progressives and the people in unrepresented groups who justly took offense at the language in OD&D. So remember, these people who are the progressives are the ones who are right. They're the victims here. And they're the ones who, if he didn't address original D&D and say it was a bad thing and that the new version's so much better, they'd be the ones who were upset, right? I didn't write the preface until late, and I wrote it to address these concerns. It never occurred to me I'd rouse the ire of the grognards. Now, if you don't know what grognards is, it's an old wargaming term, and it comes from tabletop RPGs. And it means the people who prefer old editions over new editions and always complain about the new editions, which a lot of people do. And here's the thing. They're trying to derogatorily say that because the old word meant armchair general, right? So it was a derogatory term. But the thing is, like, the reason people prefer old editions over new editions is because they're better. These new editions of D&D, 4, 5... are train wrecks. I mean, they're just unfun. They've really destroyed the game. It sucks. And obviously 3.5 was great, but I honestly just go back to AD&D. You don't even need to go as far as 3.5 to do things and have a fun game. It's pretty interesting. It's obvious now that as I look back on it, I just don't take those critiques seriously even now. I consider those people not worth listening to. So those people are the longtime gamers who are your core audience. And this is what they do every single time. We've seen it in video games, in comics. It's not for you. Don't buy our book. We hear this all the time from these people. And then they complain that the people are bigots when they don't buy the book, right? It's exactly what happens. So I didn't anticipate their outrage, and it's outrage in scare quotes. Well, you trashed Gary Gygax. It's not outrage in scare quotes. It is justified outrage. The guy, you owe your entire career. You're a senior designer at Dungeons & Dragons to this guy you just libeled as racist and sexist and the like in a preface to your book. Like that's an official product. You're insane if you think that that's like somehow something worthy of his legacy. Wow. And this is how they double down. So this is where it is right now, because he's talking about Elon, saying those people are not worth listening to. Very crazy that he would go on this level and double down like this. Of course, it doesn't work out for him. And as usual, people were saying things that were not kind in response to this because he's being so smug. He's acting like he's above everybody. He's acting entitled because I'm the D&D designer, not you. You know, this is how they act. And so clearly can't handle criticism in reverse. Folks, my social media feed impacts my state of mind. And I work at Wizards of the Coast. If you post stuff saying the people I work with are stupid, greedy corporate shills who are bad at their jobs, I'm going to remove you from my feed. So he's blocking everybody who's being critical of this as he's the one who's making the controversial and over-the-top derogatory statements. Then blames the people who are responding like they're the ones doing it. This is what they do every single time. SJWs always project, they always double down, and they always lie. And this is all three in action right here from Jason Tondro, who works at Wizard of the Coast, who wrote this thing right here. And look at this. I'm not telling you what you can or can't say. I'm curating my mental health. And there's the mask off with all of this. These people who have taken over the tabletop gaming industry, the board gaming industry, the comic industry, the science fiction and fantasy publishing industry. They're all mentally ill. This is not a valid worldview. It's not a valid political view. These are crazy people who should be in mental institutions, who have been put in charge of these products and put in charge of these hobbies and things that you love by these corporate weirdos who wanted to glorify mental illness. And that's what it comes down to. That is all this is at the end of the day. And you can't have it while these people are still running all these industries. They have to go. And Wizards of the Coast is never going to figure this out. They are just completely something to write off. And it's really, really sad what's being done to Dungeons and Dragons. And really, really sad that this guy won't listen to the actual gamers who make his life and career a thing. But it is what it is. That's why we're here, my friends. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. And please check out my Adventures of Baron von Monaco. Go to the whole 6-book set here, guys. The first book is on sale, only 99 cents. It really picks up awesome. You're going to love this. Thank you guys so much. It's on ebook, print, and audio, and it's in the description below. Grab it today.